Hello everybody. In the last videos we were discussing about electrostatics and electromagnetism from the chapter from the subject basic electrical and electronics instrumentation engineering. So in continuation of the previous video we'll discuss some other points related to chapter 2, and for today's topic of discussion is magnetism. So magnetism is one way or other related to the points which are discussed in the previous videos, like right from the Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction to the last point, that is Biot-Savart's law and Fleming's right hand rule. We were talking about the point called as magnetism or magnetic properties has been discussed. So in this video we'll try to discuss some basic fundamentals regarding magnetism. So the learning objectives for today's video is, first we'll try to know the history of magnetism, that is who discovered or who investigated on the properties of magnetism, and later we'll discuss the causes of magnetism, and then what are the magnetic materials that are commonly available, and next point is we'll discuss the basic and fundamental properties that any magnet possess. Finally we'll see some examples where the living organism exhibits some kind of magnetism, and finally we'll end up this video with some examples or with some photos of magnets that are commonly used in any machines or generators or any instrument, either electrical or electronic instruments. We'll be using magnets, and what will be the shape and structure of those magnets I'll just try to show you. Okay, in this video, in order to have a clear understanding and to have a creative way of understanding, I will try to look into one of the animated video of regarding magnetism. Okay, so let's start our session with the first point, that is magnetism. Magnetism is defined as an attractive and repulsive phenomena produced by moving electric charge. The affected region around a moving charge consists of both an electric field and magnetic field. The most familiar example of magnetism is nothing but a bar magnet, which we all know, which is attracted to a magnetic field and can attract or repel to other magnets. Okay, so this point of magnetism, this might be we might be talking about this point right from the childhood, like we might be playing with magnets where we take a small magnet and try to attract pins or something like that to that magnet and enjoy how this property of magnetism is working. So we'll discuss all these points and different kinds of magnets in today's session. And coming to the history of magnetism in general, or in this magnetism property has been used even in the ancient days, like in surgeries. One of the Indian scientists surgeries, he has used his magnetism property in medicine also. So let's see what history says about magnetism. Okay, ancient people used lodestones or natural magnets made up of iron mineral, that is magnetite. In fact, the word magnet is coming from a Greek word, that is nothing but magnetis lithios, which means magnesian stone or lodestone. And Thales of Miletus investigated the properties of magnetism around 1625 BC to 545 BC. Even the Indian surgeon Shrestha used magnets for surgical purposes around the same time. So, this magnetism property is even written in Chinese books in the 4th century itself. And these people have described using a lodestone to attract a needle in the 1st century itself. However, the compass did not come into use for navigation until the 11th century in China and in Europe in 1187. Okay, while magnets were known, there wasn't an explanation for their functionality until 1800s. Okay, until then Hans Christian accidentally discovered magnetic lines around live wires. Until then, there was no explanation regarding magnets. So later on, the relationship between electricity and magnetism was discovered by James Clerk Maxwell in 1873 and is incorporated into Einstein theory of special relativity in 1905. So, as this is an invisible phenomena or invisible as this is an invisible force, feel of that magnetism has been observed even in the 1st century, but the explanation was done in around 1800s. From 1800s, right from Hans Christian. Later on, this was the relationship between electricity and magnetism was discovered by James Clerk, and then finally it got incorporated into Einstein theory of special relativity in 1905. And next, before going into the what causes of magnetism, we'll try to see an example or a animated view of magnetism to have a clear understanding of what this magnetism is all about. Okay. So look into the video, and in this video we'll discover or find some of the basic properties of magnetism. So magnets attract objects like nickel, cobalt, iron, etc. So a magnet has two poles, north pole and a south pole. force ripple. Like poles of two magnets always repel each other. Earth also behaves like a magnet. So, here in the animation, like geographical North Pole and geographical South Pole. The South Pole of Earth's magnet is in the geographical north, and North Pole of Earth's magnet is in the geographical south. The freely suspended magnet always rests in the north-south direction. This is because opposite poles attract each other. Now, as we have seen some of the basic properties of a magnet, we'll move on with the presentation with the causes of magnetism. So, this magnetism force is an invisible force. In general, we can state that magnetism is caused by electromagnetic force, which is one of the four fundamental forces of nature. Any moving electric charge, that is nothing but electrical current, generates a magnetic field perpendicular to it. That is, either magnetism is caused by electromagnetic force or it is caused by electric charge that is generated that generates a magnetic field perpendicular to it. And in addition to this, in addition to the current traveling through a wire, magnetism is produced by spin magnetic moments of elementary particles such as electrons. Okay, so magnetism is produced by spin magnetic moments of elementary particles such as electrons. Thus, all matter is magnetic to some degree because electrons orbiting an atomic nucleus produce a magnetic field. In presence of an electric field, atoms and molecules form electric dipoles with positive charged nuclei moving a tiny bit in the direction of the field and negative charged electrons moving the other way. So we can summarize that magnetism is caused by either electromagnetic force or any electric charge or electric current which can generate a magnetic field. And the third point is that it is caused by spin magnetic moments of elementary particles like electrons. Okay. Next, we'll see the different types of magnetic materials. Okay, all magnetic materials exhibit magnetism, but magnetic behavior of that particular magnet depends on the electron configuration of the atoms and temperature. So either it is dependent on temperature or the electron configuration of the atoms show how strong or how the magnetism is getting displayed by a magnet. Okay, the electron configuration can cause magnetic moments to cancel each other or align. Second point is either increasing the temperature increases the random thermal motion, making it harder for electrons to align, and typically decreasing the strength of the magnet. So in both the cases, either depending on the electron configuration of the atoms or dependent on the temperature, the exhibition of the magnetism of that particular magnet or magnetic behavior will depend. Okay, magnetism can be classified according to its cause and behavior. So based on the cause and the behavior of magnetism, there are some certain types of magnets that are available to us, and in this video we'll try to discuss the different types of magnetisms or different types of magnetisms that are available and which are used in some way or other in the instrumentation subject. Okay, let's move on with the main types of magnetism. Of all the magnetism properties, the first and the most commonly used type of magnetism is diamagnetism. All materials display diamagnetism, that is, which is a tendency to be repelled by a magnetic field. However, other types of magnetisms can be stronger than diamagnetism. So it is only observed in materials that contain no unpaired electrons. So diamagnetism is observed in materials that contain no unpaired electrons. When electron pairs are present, their spin magnetic moments cancel each other. So in order to have an electron spin, unpaired electrons should be present. In a magnetic field, diamagnetic materials are weakly magnetized in the opposite direction of the applied field. Okay, and coming to the examples of diamagnetic materials, materials like gold, quartz, water, copper and air can be mentioned as examples for diamagnetism. Okay, so this is all about diamagnetism. So diamagnetism is one way or other observed in all kind of materials. So the commonly mentioned examples are these, like gold, quartz, water, copper and air. And the second type of magnetism is paramagnetism. In a paramagnetic material, there are unpaired electrons. The unpaired electrons are free to align their magnetic moments. So in this, the alignment of the magnetic moments of the electrons is free. So they can align by themselves. So in a magnetic field, the magnetic moments align and are magnetized in the direction of the applied field. Okay, so in a magnetic field, the magnetic moments align and are magnetized in the direction of the applied field. Coming to the examples of paramagnetism, uh, materials like magnesium, tantalum, lithium, molybdenum are some of the examples that exhibit paramagnetism. Okay, the point to be remembered regarding paramagnetism is that these paramagnetic or else the materials which possess paramagnetism are unpaired electrons, that is unpaired electrons which are free to align their magnetic moments. So which are the materials which are free to align their magnetic moments come under the category of paramagnetism. Okay, the next kind of magnetism is ferromagnetism. Ferromagnetic materials can form permanent magnets and are attracted to magnets. A ferromagnet has unpaired electrons, plus the magnetic moments of electrons tend to remain aligned even when removed from a magnetic field. So this point is to be remembered, that is, even though when removed from a magnetic material, the electron tends to remain aligned. So they maintain their alignment even when they get removed from the magnetic field. So this kind of magnetism is called as ferromagnetism. So these ferromagnets can be used to form permanent magnets. Okay, permanent magnets like we use in permanent magnet moving coil instruments and all are made up of this kind of materials. Like the examples of ferromagnetism involve iron, cobalt, nickel, and alloys of these all materials like iron, cobalt, nickel alloys, and some of the rare earth alloys and some magnesium alloys come under the category of ferromagnetism. So as these can form permanent magnets, this ferromagnetism property or ferromagnetism principle or kind of magnets is used in almost all the electronic equipment including the PMMC instrument. Okay, the next kind of magnetism is antiferromagnetism. In contrast to ferromagnets, the intrinsic magnetic moments of valence electron in a antiferromagnet point in opposite directions, that is in antiparallel. The result is no net magnetic moment or magnetic field. So this is a contrast of ferromagnetism, that is the intrinsic magnetic moments of valence electrons in an antiferromagnet in opposite direction. So the total result will be there will be no net magnetic moment or no net magnetic field. So this antiferromagnetism is commonly seen in transition metal compounds such as hematite, iron, manganese and nickel oxide. So these are the metals or materials in which we see antiferromagnetism. The next kind of magnetism is ferrimagnetism. Like ferromagnets, ferrimagnets retain magnetism when removed from a magnetic field, but neighboring pair of electron spins point in opposite direction. So this is the same kind of magnetism which we see for ferromagnets. Like even after removed from a magnetic field, they still have electrons which are aligned to their positions. But the difference is that for ferromagnetism, the neighboring pairs of electron spins point in the opposite direction. Okay. The lattice arrangement of the material makes the magnetic moment pointing in one direction stronger than that pointing in the other direction. Okay, the lattice arrangement of the materials makes the magnetic moment pointing in one direction stronger than pointing in the other direction. So ferromagnet occurs in magnetite and other ferrites. Like ferromagnets, ferrimagnets are attracted to magnets. So this is almost the same of ferri and ferro are almost the same, but the thing is that the alignment of the of the electron spin movement will be slightly differing. Otherwise, both are one and the same, as on these two magnets are getting attracted to magnets. Okay, there are other kinds of magnetisms are also there, like super paramagnetism, metamagnetism, spin gas. These and all are not discussed in this video, but the points like diamagnetism, paramagnetism, ferromagnetism, antiferro and ferrimagnetism should be kept in mind, because these kinds of magnetisms are being used right from the basics of electronics, like from EMI we'll be using some voltmeters and ammeters. There we'll see a PMMC magnet, which is made up of which can be of ferromagnet or ferrimagnet. And even in loudspeakers and mics we'll use PMMC kind of loudspeakers. There also this kind of magnetism property is used. And all of the above, like in all the electrostatic laws, right from Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction to Coulomb's law and all of the Ampere circuit law, everywhere we'll be using the concept of magnetism. And coming to the magnets, are all the magnets are mostly used in moving iron or moving coil type instruments, and as well as all the internal constructions of either loudspeakers or like in analytical instrumentation we see some gas analyzers like paramagnetic gas analyzers, oxygen analyzers, and all. So in those analyzer structures we'll be using magnets. And even in the biomedical instrumentation side, some of the magnets are being used in medical equipment. So magnetism and magnets are most commonly used, but the thing is that until and unless we go into the internal construction and analyze them, until then we don't understand or observe the working of how this magnet is helping our instruments work. Okay, so these points have to be kept in mind regarding magnetism. So this is a simple table which describes of the four different or the four main types of magnetisms in which the alignments of magnet is made. Like here in the first column we can see a ferromagnetic material where the alignment or the magnetic moments are aligned in same direction, that is either in the either to the upward or downwards. The alignment of all the electrons or electron spin movement will be in the same direction. That kind of magnetism is called as ferromagnetism. The second one is antiferromagnetism. So here we see an equal number of upward arrows and equal number of downward arrows. That is the zero net magnetic moment at sufficiently low temperature we can observe. And coming to the ferrimagnetism, so we see some equal number of upward and downward arrows, but the intensity of the arrows is varying, as you can see on the screen. That is, the magnetic moments oppose but they do not cancel each other, as in the case of antiferromagnetism. And next, coming to the paramagnetism, you can see that the alignment is of random kind, like you see some arrows upward and some arrows downwards, and the alignment is in random fashion, right? Random magnetic moments can be seen in paramagnetism, and magnetic moments will align with the applied magnetic field and occurs about Curie temperature. So these 4 points, basic points to be kept in mind while dealing with magnets, like the same alignment, ferromagnets, the alignment is of like which has some zero net magnetic moment, antiferromagnetism. The alignment is such that the magnetic moments oppose but do not cancel, that is ferrimagnet, and the random magnetic moments is shown in paramagnetism. Okay, and the next learning objective is nothing but the properties of magnets. Till now we have been discussing what is all about magnet, and the history of magnet has been discussed, and the different types of magnetism have been discussed. So listening all to this, we can summarize some of the properties of magnets. So let's see the different or the common properties that any magnet possesses. Okay, the magnet form when ferromagnetic or ferrimagnetic materials are exposed to a electromagnetic field. Okay, so any magnet is formed when ferromagnetic or ferrimagnetic materials are exposed to electromagnetic field, and the magnet displays some certain main characteristics. So those we will discuss in detail right now. Okay, so the first point is there is a magnetic field surrounding a magnet. So though it is an invisible thing, but we observe a magnet, or we can sense a magnetic field around a magnet. Second point is magnet attracts ferromagnetic and ferrimagnetic materials and can turn them into magnets. So this point we have previously discussed that ferromagnet and ferrimagnet materials can act as magnets. Okay. The third point is magnet has two poles that repel like poles and attract opposite poles. That is, this point we have seen in the video. A magnet has two poles that repel like poles, like north pole repel, south pole repel, whereas north south or south north will get attracted. So like poles repel and unlike pole or opposite poles attract each other. The north pole is repelled by north pole of other magnet and attracted to south poles. The south pole is repelled by south pole of other magnet, but it is attracted to its north pole. Okay, this point we have seen in the video. Next, the other points are the magnets always exist as dipoles. That is, in other words, if you cut a magnet into half to separate the north and south pole, cutting a magnet makes that magnet into two smaller magnets which have north and south poles. Okay, so if you take any magnet and cut it into n number of pieces, even that small piece, in that small piece you can observe a north pole and south pole. In contrast to electric field, like in electric field we can see an individual positive charge and negative charge, but in case of magnetism we don't see a north pole and south pole separated. We see always north and south pole in the same magnet. Okay, the next point is the north pole of a magnet is attracted to Earth's north magnetic pole, while the south pole of the magnet is attracted to Earth's south magnetic pole. This can be a kind of confusing, but this point we have already discussed or already we have seen in the video. So though it is confusing, if you stop to consider the magnetic poles of other magnet, for a compass to function, a planet's north pole is essentially the south pole if the world was a giant magnet. Okay, so these points conclude what a magnet is all about. And next, the learning objective is magnetism in living organisms. So though we may not see or we may not observe the most common things that happen in our life, or all the things which are in front of our eyes uh, possess some kind of magnetism. So we'll try to know some of them. Okay, some of the living organisms detect and use magnetic field. The ability to sense a magnetic field is called as magnetoception. Okay, so magnetoception is an ability to sense a magnetic field. So examples like creatures like the examples of creatures capable of magnetoception include bacteria, birds, arthropods, molluscs, etc. uh, exhibit this property, that is magnetoception. So this even birds, arthropods and bacteria, molluscs, all these have the ability to sense a magnetic field. Even the human eye contains cryptochrome protein, which may allow some degree of magnetoception in many people, not in all, but some people, based on the protein content that in the eye, that is cryptochrome, allow some degree of magnetoception in some people. Okay, many creatures uses magnetism, which is a process known as biomagnetism. For example, chitons are molluscs that use magnetite to harden their teeth. Humans also produce magnetite in tissues, which may affect the immune and nervous system functions. Okay, so though we may not have these we may not know these points earlier, but magnetoception is a point in which some living creatures exhibit in some way or the other. Okay, so if we take an example of bird, so this magnetism, because of this magnetism property of electromagnetism and radiation, so when you cannot find birds near the towers, cell phone towers. So this is one of the reason why we don't see much birds near cell phone towers, because of the radiation they emit and the magnetic properties that are getting ejected from the towers. As the birds can sense these fields, they move away from the cell phone towers. So this we might have seen, but we may not have taken into consideration. Okay, so magnetism is the reason behind this. And coming to the different types of magnets, so in the screen we can see the various types of magnets that are available and which are commonly used in any electronic equipment. Like in the first picture, on the left side we see flexible magnets. The second one is ceramic magnets. Third one is Alnico magnets, which is made up of aluminium, nickel and cobalt. In general, Alnico magnets are used in PMMC construction. So these are some of the kinds of or types of magnets which are commonly used. And in the next on the next picture, that is on to the right side, you can see some bar magnets, horseshoe magnet, rod type magnets, ring magnets, disc and wand magnets can be seen. Okay, so these are the different types and different constructional views of magnets that are commonly used. And coming to the if you can summarize all these points from this video, we can say that magnetism arises from electromagnetic force of a moving electric charge, and a magnet has an invisible magnetic field surrounding it and two ends called as poles. The north pole points towards Earth's north magnetic field. The south pole points towards Earth's south magnetic field. The north pole of a magnet is attracted to south pole of any other magnet and repelled by the north pole of other magnet. And the last point which we got to know is cutting a magnet forms into two different magnets, each with north and south poles. Okay, so these are all the points which we have discussed in this video, like right from the what is meant by magnetism. Then we have moved on to we have discussed the history of magnetism. Then we have discussed what are the main causes of magnetism, and then later on we have discussed the various kinds of magnetism like diamagnetism, paramagnetism, ferromagnetism, antiferro and ferrimagnetism. And after that we have seen the alignment structure of all these magnets in a simple table. Then we have discussed the properties of magnets, and we have discussed the magnetism in living organism and what is a property that we call or the ability to sense a magnetic field. Then we have concluded with and to have a proper understanding of the magnetism principle, we have seen a small animated view of magnetism. Okay, so with this we got to know some basic points regarding magnetism and its properties. And in the next coming videos we'll be discussing some other points relating in one way or the or other to the magnetism principle. Okay, thank you.